Welcome to the Explainer. Imagine being able to uncover the rich history of any property in Clackamas County with just a few clicks. Sounds pretty intriguing, right? Today, we're going to completely demystify the process of looking up and understanding property records right here in the county. Whether you're a seasoned real estate pro, a historical researcher, or honestly just a complete beginner, you'll find absolutely every piece of information you need to become your very own property detective.
Ever wondered about the stories behind the properties in your neighborhood? Today, we're unearthing the secrets of ownership histories in Clackamas County. Stick around, and you'll never need to hire someone else to look up property deeds again.
Okay, let's dive right into our step-by-step investigator's journey for today. 1. Introduction to property deeds. 2. Clackamas County's record system. 3. Digital property deed search. 4. Interpreting property deed information. 5. Offline archival research options. And 6. Resources and legal disclaimer.
Section 1. Introduction to property deeds. Because, well, we have to know what we're actually looking for before you can find it, right? So, what exactly is a property deed? Simply put, it's a public legal document that records the transfer of title or an interest in real property from one party to another. Think of it as the ultimate, legally binding receipt of ownership. And in a place like Clackamas County, these aren't just pieces of paper, they track a continuous chain of ownership stretching all the way back to the 1850s, right in the middle of Oregon's territorial period.
Now, why do these deeds actually matter? Well, they heavily impact real estate decisions. First and foremost, they definitively establish legal ownership. But they do so much more than that. They help solve those super tricky boundary questions, track fascinating historical changes to a property over the decades, and uncover hidden property restrictions. For example, if you're thinking about building a new fence or adding on to your house, pulling the deed can reveal historical restrictions or easements you absolutely need to know about before you go pouring any concrete.
Section 2. Clackamas County's record system.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Clackamas County's specific, decentralized setup. It's essentially a dual-track system. On one side, you've got the county clerk's recording division. They're the true keepers of the historical archive, actually recording and preserving the official deeds and mortgages. On the flip side, there's the county assessor's office. They handle property valuations, tax rolls, and GIS mapping systems like CMAP. To be a successful investigator here, you're actually going to use the assessor's digital tools to find the specific index codes you need to track down the clerk's physical records. It's like a giant puzzle.
Section 3. Digital property deed search.
So, how do we bridge that gap? You really just need a computer, a stable internet connection, and the county's online portals. Let's walk through the exact steps. Step 1. You'll want to navigate to the County Assessor's Ascend Web portal or their CMAP mapping tool. Step 2. Input the property's address or the 8-digit tax account number. And hey, here's a massive insider tip for you. If you run into trouble with how a street name is formatted in their database, just use the % as a wildcard in your search. It completely bypasses those formatting hiccups. Then, Step 3. Once you're on the property's profile, just scroll down until you spot the ledger titled Recordings Processed. Once you're inside that Recordings Processed ledger, you are hunting for one absolutely vital piece of information, the instrument number. This is a unique transactional identifier, usually formatted with the year, something like 2022-001335. This number is your ultimate digital key. Once you extract it from the assessor's portal, you literally take that number over to the county clerk's document retriever system to unlock and inspect the actual original property deed.
Section 4. Interpreting property deed information.
Okay, you've used your digital key, and boom, the deed is right there in front of you. Now what? Well, keep in mind that formatting rules in Clackamas County are incredibly rigid. The county requires some very strict first-page formatting for any recorded document. It must clearly state the transaction title, like warranty deed. It has to have the explicit names of the grantor, the seller, and the grantee, the buyer. It also needs to list the consideration amount, basically the money paid, plus a return address. But watch out for this incredibly common pitfall. The notary stamp must be absolutely flawless. If it's blurry, faint, or even slightly covering a signature or text, the recording division will outright reject the whole document. No joke.
So, the crucial point here is making sure the deed contains a valid legal description of the property boundaries. In Oregon, a valid legal description means detailed meets and bounds, or a specific subdivision name along with the lot and block. What's invalid? An assessor's map number, a tax lot number, or a standard tax account number. People make this mistake all the time,
But those tax numbers are strictly for taxes. They are not legally recognized land boundaries in a court of law.
Section 5. Offline archival research options.
Now, for modern transactions, those digital searches work like a charm. But what if you're looking into a property's history from way before the digital age? You're going to need to visit the Clackamas County Records Office in person. It's located at 1710 Red Soils Court, Suite 110, right in Oregon City. The best part? No appointment necessary. You can just walk right into the public viewing room. They have 3 microform readers set up, and this is where you can physically dive into historical records going all the way back to the 19th century.
When you're there, you obviously won't have modern instrument numbers to rely on. Instead, you'll be digging through massive physical index books. These books are split into 2 tracks. First, you have direct indexes, which are organized chronologically and then alphabetically by the last name of the grantor, the seller. Then you have indirect indexes, which are the exact same setup but organized by the grantee, the buyer. By cross-referencing these names and dates, you can pinpoint the specific historical volume and page number you need to pull the correct microfiche card.
Now, there are some pretty strict rules in the physical archive you'll need to respect. Laptops are totally fine for taking notes, but there are absolutely no cell phone pictures allowed of the records, and you definitely cannot plug digital jump drives into their machines. Also, just a fascinating tip for historical researchers. As you browse older deeds, keep your eyes peeled for historical restrictive covenants. It was unfortunately pretty common in early 20th century suburban developments to find deeds with explicit racial exclusion clauses. Tracing those can actually reveal a lot about the shifting social and legal history of the county.
And this brilliantly illustrates the cost of doing this research. Taking a look at the county's official Appendix A fee schedule, you'll see it is incredibly affordable. It literally only costs 25 cents per page to take a printed physical copy of a historical microfiche deed home with you. A real bargain for a piece of history.
Section 6. Resources and Legal Disclaimer.
We've covered a massive amount of ground today, but remember, complex inquiries often need a professional touch. If you're dealing with a boundary dispute, you really need a licensed professional land surveyor. If you need a comprehensive, guaranteed history of a title, you'll want to order a preliminary title report from a title company. And if you find yourself facing actual property disputes, always seek out a qualified legal advisor. You can do the research to find the history yourself, but only a court or a certified professional can make final legal determinations.
Which brings us to our mandated professional disclaimer. The content provided in this explainer is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. Please consult a qualified attorney or a real estate professional for advice specific to your situation. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into Clackamas County property records. If you found this explainer helpful, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more in-depth property tips. Before we go, ask yourself, what hidden history, forgotten boundaries, or century-old secrets are waiting to be uncovered in the deeds of your very own neighborhood?